Crash course on Syria, why a divided nation, broken economy, global refugees? Syria is a country located in the Middle East, bordered by Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, and Lebanon. It has a rich history and cultural heritage, but in recent years, it has been torn apart by conflict, leading to a divided nation and a broken economy. Background: the Syrian conflict began in 2011 as a popular uprising against the government of President Bashar al-Assad, who succeeded his father Hafez al-Assad in 2000. The protests were initially peaceful, but the government responded with force, leading to a violent crackdown on protesters. The conflict soon turned into a full-blown civil war, with multiple factions fighting for control of the country. These factions include the Syrian government, opposition groups, Kurdish forces, and jihadist groups such as ISIS and al-Qaeda. Divided nation. The Syrian conflict has led to a divided nation, with different factions controlling different parts of the country. The Syrian government, backed by Russia and Iran, controls the majority of the country, including the capital city of Damascus. The opposition forces, backed by the United States and other Western countries, control some parts of the country, mainly in the north and east. The Kurdish forces control a region in the northeast of the country, while jihadist groups control small pockets of territory in various parts of the country. The conflict has also led to the displacement of millions of Syrians, with many fleeing the country as refugees. Broken economy. The Syrian conflict has had a devastating impact on the country's economy, which was already struggling before the conflict began. The war has destroyed much of the country's infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and factories. The destruction of the country's oil and gas fields has also had a severe impact on its economy. The conflict has led to a decline in foreign investment, and many businesses have been forced to close due to the war. The Syrian currency has also collapsed, leading to hyperinflation and making it difficult for people to afford basic necessities such as food and medicine. Interesting stories. Despite the ongoing conflict, there are many stories of resilience and hope in Syria. For example, in the city of Aleppo, a group of women have started a soap-making business called Aleppo Soap Sisters. The business provides jobs for women who have been displaced by the conflict and produces high-quality, natural soaps that are sold both locally and internationally. Another example of resilience is that of a group of young people in the city of Raqqa who have started a music school. The school provides music lessons to children and young people, many of whom have been traumatized by the conflict. The students have performed in public, bringing joy and hope to their war-torn city. The Syria refugee crisis and world impact, in particular Europe. The Syrian refugee crisis is one of the largest humanitarian crises of our time, with millions of Syrians fleeing their homes due to the ongoing conflict in their country. The crisis has had a significant impact on the world, particularly in Europe, which has seen a large influx of Syrian refugees in recent years. The Syrian refugee crisis began in 2011, when the conflict in Syria began. Millions of Syrians have been forced to flee their homes due to the violence and instability in their country. Many have fled to neighboring countries such as Lebanon, Turkey, and Jordan, while others have made the dangerous journey to Europe in search of safety and a better life. The impact of the Syrian refugee crisis on Europe has been significant. In 2015, over 1 million refugees and migrants arrived in Europe, many of whom were fleeing the conflict in Syria. The sudden influx of refugees led to a political crisis in Europe, with many countries struggling to cope with the large numbers of people arriving on their shores. Some countries, such as Germany and Sweden, welcomed the refugees and worked to provide them with housing, healthcare, and education. Others, however, were more resistant to accepting refugees, citing concerns about the impact on their economies and social structures. The Syrian refugee crisis has also had a significant impact on the global political landscape. It has highlighted the inadequacies of the international refugee system, with many refugees unable to access basic services and protections. It has also raised questions about the responsibilities of wealthy countries towards refugees, particularly those who have been displaced due to conflicts that have been fueled by international powers. The Syrian refugee crisis has also had a significant impact on the Syrian people themselves. Many of those who have fled their homes have faced extreme hardships, including poverty, discrimination, and trauma. The crisis has also had an impact on Syria's economy and infrastructure, with many of the country's best and brightest leaving in search of safety and better opportunities. The Syrian refugee crisis is one of the largest humanitarian crises of our time. It has had a significant impact on the world, particularly in Europe, which has struggled to cope with the large numbers of refugees arriving on its shores. The crisis has highlighted the inadequacies of the international refugee system and has raised questions about the responsibilities of wealthy countries towards refugees. It is crucial that the international community continues to work towards finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict in Syria and providing support to those who have been displaced by the crisis. Conclusion. Syria is a country that has been ravaged by conflict, leading to a divided nation and a broken economy. The conflict has caused untold suffering for the Syrian people, with millions displaced and many more killed or injured. Despite the challenges, there are stories of resilience and hope in Syria, with people working hard to rebuild their lives and their country. The international community must continue to support the Syrian people and work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Only through a comprehensive and inclusive political solution can Syria begin to rebuild and move towards a brighter future. Here is a poem on current Syrian crisis. Amidst the land of ancient tales lies a nation torn by wails. The Syrian crisis, a raging fire that has consumed all that was once admired. The sky, once a canvas of blue, is now painted red with the hue of the blood spilled by innocent lives, lost to the violence that still thrives. Children, once playing with glee, are now caught in the crossfire, unable to flee, their innocence stolen by the horrors they've seen. In a world where peace is just a dream, families separated, torn apart by a war that has shattered every heart. The homes they once knew, now in ruins. A nation, broken and in ruins. Amidst the chaos, hope still glimmers, as nations unite to ease the tremors. A beacon of light in the darkest of days, offering aid and compassion in many ways. May peace soon come to the land of Syria. May the cries of its people be heard beyond the hysteria. For in their struggle, we see our own humanity. A reminder of the fragility of our own sanity. Start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link, https://www.booking.com/index.html. Aid equals 7989335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for kind support our AnHub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.